Good evening and welcome to American Hammers TV. Tonight we're doing the Travelogue Episode 1. Where am I? Where am I going?
Your happy man from America get his little gift from Declan. He's just got another one. What we doing it?
Alright, so you want to go to the US to watch a football match. That's great. Now in the US or in Canada, we're pretty used to driving our car really close to the stadium, getting out, walking a couple of blocks. Or if you do things like we do here in Colorado, there's lots of places that open up their parking lot near game time. They charge you $10, $20, you park, you're happy. Big change. At the Olympic Stadium, no big parking lot. Getting to watch a match is about learning to take public transport and where to get to and where to get off to make things make sense for where you're staying in London. Let's take a look. Here's a zoom in of the Olympic Stadium. Now, obviously, when they built the stadium for the Olympics, they realized they needed to have lots of ingress and egress routes for people to get to and from the events. So with that in mind, they did a lot of very smart things. First off, Dockland Light Rail. You can see that you've got lots of options specifically on the east and southern side of the Olympic Stadium with different places to get off. You can even go up to Stratford International if you want to do a little bit more of a walk. But those are all on different loops of the same lines that allow you different places to get off. Maybe you're coming from the north, maybe you're coming from near Upton Park where the Bull Inn was at. You could take the DLR from that area directly up towards Stratford. Maybe you're down at Canary Wharf doing a day of shopping. Something to keep in mind. Additionally, if you're like me, I'm a big fan of the Underground. I travel to London quite often. I find the Underground terribly easy. Central Line runs right from the center of London, St. Paul's area, all the way right to Stratford. There's a really nice series of stops going on there. For example, if you even went further east and you went to one of the West Ham Way events, that's the route you take back to get back to the OS from their event. You can also do things like take the Overground, train service above ground. Now, keep in mind, you're seeing a lot of stuff stop at Stratford, major transport hub. Lots of things stop there for a really good reason. Shopping center's right there, OS is right there. Caveat. Going to the match is great. They leave the mall open. You can walk right through the mall. There's shopping, there's food courts, there's bars, etc. Great. Before the match, awesome. After the match, they block it off and they don't let you walk through the shopping center. You have to walk around the shopping center. You won't be alone. You won't get lost. Everybody has to do it. They have lots of cops there to make sure things are all good. Finally, if you're staying kind of a little further away, TfL Rail also stops at Stratford. It's pretty important as you get further and further away from the OS to be thinking, what is the right line to take here? I would encourage you to take a little bit of time, go to TfL, it's Transport for London's website, and use their trip planner. And it'll tell you exactly where you should start, where you should stop. Now, one thing I want to really point out here, northwest corner, I picked out the Overground near Hackney Wick. A couple of reasons. Quite often, the official supporters club will have a match day bar there, or at this time, I believe that Mark the Ribman is actually set up there selling his meat and his sauces before the match. Huge West Ham supporter, and if you're lucky, he'll take his leg off and bang on the stadium for us during a match. Something quite nice to hear. One thing that people sometimes ask is, well, if I want to go see where Upton Park was, where is it in relation to the Olympic Stadium? In this map, you can see that bright red circle is roughly where Upton Park used to be. And you can see, you can take the green line there. In this case, that's the district line or the Hammersmith and City line going out as far as the Upton Park stop. You can then go back all the way on the same line and get to Mile End Station, turn around on the central line and go back up to the Olympic Stadium. Now, a bit of a lie there because there's DLR stops that go across between those two places. But if you want to keep it simple, that's a nice simple way to get over to where Upton Park was, back to the right line, and go back to Stratford and get off right by the OS. Give yourself time. This is not close. They're about 4 kilometers away. But even though the tube is pretty efficient, it still takes about 5 minutes per stop. So I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stops from Upton Park back to Mile End, and then I think one stop up to Stratford, give it half an hour, 3/4 an hour to make sure you have lots of time. All right, that's going to the OS. You're not driving, you're taking the train. It's all right. Get there early. Lots of people are going the same match you are. You're going to have to walk through a lot of crowds. You got to walk from your station. You're going to either walk through Stratford shopping area or from your station and get through security. It's going to take a few minutes. Club shops there. There's food and drink outside the stadium and inside the stadium. Over the next few weeks, we want to talk about some of the other things you can do. If you're old school and you want to go see where Upton Park was, lots of bars there. We want to talk about a few of those. If you just want to go near the OS, we want to talk about the Carpenters and some of the pubs in that area. If you're a supporters club kind of guy, the official supporter club runs a bar. We want to talk to them a little bit. We want to talk about some very special things people do. We want to talk to Dave and X from the West Ham Way about their pre-match events. Next week, we're going to talk to Gonzo from Hammer's Chat and ask the question, do you want to get wet? If you got ideas or questions or thoughts, emails right here, hit me up. In the interim, have a great week, support the Irons, enjoy your travels. Recording number 43. Hopefully I can say the West Ham Way without saying the West Ham way this time. I have my doubts.